I am Burhanu Alamu, a counseling psychologist. In my last video, we've seen that it's our thinking and the meaning we give to events that play the primary role in determining our feeling following bad or negative events. In this regard, we've seen some of the common problematic thinking patterns. Today, we'll think through one of the problematic thinking patterns, that is catastrophizing. In this video, you train yourself to question your thoughts regarding a particular situation or an event. With that, you'll be able to correct your thinking if it was distorted actually. I'll use the examples that I have mentioned in the previous video while discussing catastrophizing. Let me repeat what I said in the video. Imagine that you say something to offend your future mother-in-law. From this, you conclude that she'll turn your fiancé against you. The wedding will be off, your parents will be mortified, and nobody will ever want to go out with you again. You're just catastrophizing. Catastrophizing is when you take a relatively minor event and imagine all sorts of terrors and nightmare scenarios resulting from it. Another way of describing this thinking error is making a mountain out of a molehill. Let's see how we are going to correct this kind of distorted thinking. The first thing that we have to do in correcting our distorted thinking is to critically question our conclusion that we have reached related to a particular situation that has caused unhealthy and negative emotion. Accordingly, our first question will be, what hard evidence do I have to support my conclusion? Let's reframe the question to suit the example we've seen earlier. So it will be like this. Even if I said something that could offend my future mother-in-law, is there any tangible evidence that proves that she was offended to the degree I imagined? Then take your time and try to list out pieces of evidence to support your perception. You may be able to find evidence to support your assumption. If that is the case, you'll proceed to another question, and it will be, what practical steps has she taken for me to say she'll turn my fiancé against me? And again, take your time and try to mention her steps. If you could mention some practical steps that your future mother-in-law has taken, ask yourself, what evidence do I have for me to say that my fiancé has accepted the advice of his mom or submitted to her pressure? After we take some time to think about the evidence to support our conclusion, we'll proceed to the second question. And the second question will be, what hard evidence disproves my conclusion? Mind you, the second question is meant to look for disproving evidence, unlike the first question that looks for proving evidence. Here, the specific questions that suit the example will be, won't my fiancé, his mother, and other people in the family be hurt if the wedding is off? Will they go that far to do things that will be hurting to themselves? You may also ask, is there no other person in the family that could stand against his mom's position? We can also take time and see other people's experience. And in this regard, we can ask, aren't there people who had offended their in-laws but didn't break up with their fiancé? Try to count people you know yourself who have gone through such an experience or such stories that you might have heard. If the evidence shows that the wedding will most likely be off, then ask yourself, Aren't there people who had broken up with their first fiancé and have married to another person? And again, take your time and try to think of such people or similar stories that you might have heard. If the evidence you have gathered so far show that your conclusions were unrealistic, then ask, can I adopt more accurate perspective on the event? Take your time and correct your perspective on the event. The next question will be, what are some of the less terrible conclusions I can make about the event? Think of the less terrible conclusions you may come up with. And finally, you'll have to ask, what practical steps can I take to deal with the situation, if you may have anything to correct? By asking this and other relevant questions to a particular event, we'll be able to correct our catastrophizing thinking and feel better. I hope you have benefited from what we have seen today. In order to benefit more from the video, please pause at each relevant question that you may have to ask. And take your time and think things through. If you found this video helpful, please subscribe and share it to your friends. And if you really liked it, please do not forget to click on the thumbs up button and leave your comment. See you in my next video.